Hi everyone, welcome back. So I'm going to continue this page today. This is from Fragile World by Kirby Rosannes. So if you joined my live stream last week, you will know that I started this page using the Winsor & Newton designer gouache. And on that live stream, I managed to do the background up here and the heads of these little grebes. Then in a separate colouring chart, I did this body over here. I've done this bird in my own time. So now, because I showed you this part of the bird on camera, I'm now going to show you how I get all these white and ochre type details on top of this one here. And then in another separate video, because this takes quite a long time, guys, you have to be really patient and there's lots of layers. In another separate video, I will do the water, so that you would have seen everything on this page done on camera, which is quite fun. And someone has actually joined along with this, and if you're watching, Jen, I think your picture is absolutely fantastic. She has started following along with me, and she sent me a little picture. She's managed to do the background and the heads of the grebes so far, and it looks amazing. I actually thought it was my own picture she was sending me a picture of on Instagram. I was like taken aback, like, that is amazing. So yeah, the colours that we already mixed in part 2, all these sort of browns, greys, are still on my palette. I've still not used any extra paint. All I've been doing is re-wetting all of this. So we've got whites, creams, ochres, browns, greys, all on here. It's a very messy palette, but that's what I'm working with. I thought, why clean your palette off when you've got all that gorgeous paint that you still want to use? And of course it's the if I wash that off, then you'd be having to try and mix these colours again to the same effect. So I'm going to zoom in on this side of the grebe. So we're going to chop his head off and just zoom in. So no, zoom out a bit, otherwise I'll be going off camera. Move it up a bit. So that's his body from his neck to the bottom of here, and that's as far as I can get it. So to get this effect on the right hand side, I've used quite a few layers. I've gone in with some ochre, then I've gone in with some creams, and I've gone in with quite a few layers of white, because you'll find the first layer of white you put down will sort of take on the colours of the layers underneath, so you don't get that bright white. So I do go in with a couple of layers on there as well. But first off, I'm going to start with some ochres. Now you can see the little ochre type colours coming through on this one, and there is quite a few on the reference as well. There's, you know, it's not pure white, it is like creamy type colours. But yeah, we're gonna go in, let's get this ochre going. So I'm dipping my brush into it. Always wipe off on a cloth just to make sure it's not too loaded up on your brush, because you are trying to get your fine details. And it is just all the little flecks again in areas where you want the ochre. So there's a little bits under the neck. If you find it's too loaded up, wipe it off on a cloth again. And then you can get some thinner lines, see. But yeah, under the neck he's got quite this yellow tinge to it, I would say. Drag that down a little bit. And then somewhere around here where it meets the brown, probably got a little bit of ochre going on. You will find I'm quite quick sometimes with the strokes as well, because I'm not looking for perfection with this. I'm looking for a sort of, not a realistic feather, but sort of an imitation of a feather. So it's sort of an impression that you're building, rather than perfect realism, if you understand what I mean, because it's more fun that way. So I'm going to do some random ones just up here, some on the edge of the chest where it's sticking out, and then a little bit I'm going to move down. I'm going to pop some around the edge where that belly meets the belly of the other grebe. I'm going to have some there. So I hope I'm not going too fast for you, Jen. I know she's following along, that's why I'm mentioning Jen, or anyone else. If you were following along with this, please let me know, or send me a picture via email or Instagram Messenger. I'd love to see a picture, because when I do these colour alongs, I never ever expect that anyone's gonna colour along. I just think, oh, they'll maybe just pick up some tips and try it on their own pages, or they'll just be having a brew and colour along with their own pages. So when someone actually follows a colour along, it's really exciting. It's really exciting to know that you've inspired that. So I think that's it for the ochre. I'm just going to bring some of these lines down on the neck and thin some of them out a bit. Flick some up there. And now I'm going to go in with some cream colours. So all I've done for this is, you can see it's getting a bit dirty now, but this was my cream, which has sort of got a bit mixed up with the brown. But up here, it doesn't matter if that goes in a little bit. When I flatten my palette out on the table, that'll go away. But I've been dipping a little bit of this ochre into the white that I had up here to sort of create this nice creamy sort of colour that you can see there. I am very messy though, guys. I love, when I'm creating with paints, I just love to make a good old mess, and that's how you know you've had fun, I think. It's normally all over my hands and everything. So I might bring you in a little bit more just so you can see what I'm doing on this neck. So I'll bring you in there, but literally it's just creating all these strokes and sort of vary them up a bit. So some you might do really tiny, like I'm doing up near the neck, because I don't want massive feather like things going onto the head. And then sometimes I'm bringing them down straight, so the lines are coming down in a straight line almost. And then sometimes I'm sort of putting feathers in groups. So you might do, if I can get the paint to come out, you might do a few like that, grouped together. Not quite that big, we'll do that as a straight line. But in groups like that, so you might do that. And then do a couple of big lines through them. Here and there. You can change direction and go that way. So it's about just building up layers by doing that and doing different strokes, and that's what I've found anyway. If you have a way that you prefer, you go for it. But I just find it just gives it some really nice depth. I mean, I love this bit round here because you can see all the different strokes I've used, the thicker strokes that are grouped together, then the thinner, more wispy strokes that are coming through in some points. I just love it. I love painting. But you can see how I said it will sort of, your colours deepen once they dry. So that's why I've been doing lots of layers, because I've been gradually brightening up the shades of creams and whites as I add them. As we add the layers. But I thought, I'll come on and do this. I knew that I wouldn't be able to get this finished and start the water. So we're going to finish this little bird off in this part, and then the water I'll do in a separate video, because then I can really concentrate on showing you how I'm doing it and explaining. Because if I try and rush through it, then whoever wants to follow along will just get a bit confused, I think, if I try and rush. But I've really enjoyed doing this page. I am going to pick, I've decided, I am going to force myself, well, not force myself because I enjoy colouring this book, but I'm going to push myself, should we say, not force. I'm going to push myself to make sure that I'm colouring at least one page out of Fragile Wild a month, because I really want to complete it. It's one that I've always had belief that I can do it, because I love every single page in the book. you know, sometimes you might buy a colouring book and you're like, oh, it's really nice, I love all of this, but then you sort of pick your favourite pages out and then you're left with ones that perhaps you really don't want to colour because they're not, you know, your cup of tea. Well, this book, I love every single page in it. There might be a couple what intimidate me because I don't know how to approach a certain animal's fur, or there is one actually in the front. I think it's is it a winter lynx or is it a panther? I'm not sure what it is, but it's a double page spread. If you can hear children coming up, they are at home. It's the weekend. Well, it's Sunday today. But we did take the children out yesterday. We went to a party at a trampoline park, which was super fun for them, not for me. It was super fun for them. They really enjoyed it. It was a family member's party, so they was tired by the time we got home, and they got given the tea there as well, which is always a bonus, isn't it, when there's food at a party. So they had pizza. They had a lot to eat actually at that party. They had pizza, nuggets, chips, and then they came around with ice lollies, obviously to cool them down after they've been jumping around like crazy kids. Ice lollies, donuts, and then on the way out, as they was going home, they got given birthday cake and sweet corns. So I was like, they've well and truly been fed, so they don't need feeding when I get home. So that was a win-win. So I'm still doing the same thing. Just plotting out my little lines everywhere. Some grouped together, some different directions, some long wispy lines, like that maybe. As you can see on this side, I've done wispy lines as it's going into the brown bits. So because my brush has sort of used the bulk of the paint what was already on there, now there's not much paint on the brush. This is where you're going to get your thinner lines, so you can use it to do those really nice wispy ones on the end here. Don't try and do that with your paintbrush fully loaded, because you just won't get that thin nice detail. You'll get a really thick blodgy sort of line. You really can just pop some wispy lines here and there, even some on the back, or little, there's a few little dots if you look on the reference picture of white on its back throughout. Just a few little random ones. And then dip back into your paint so you can carry on with your feathers on its belly. Like I say, we're going to dip into the white paint on top and go on top of this several times yet. There's quite a few layers, guys. I mean, possibly these little grebes are a bit more fluffy than they should be, but I just love doing fluff. I just love fluffiness. Can't help it. Has anybody downloaded any nice PDFs lately? Have any artists come out with any new artwork that you know of? I've seen a couple of Mariola Budecks lately that I think, oh, I might at some point buy one of them. The little girls she's been illustrating are just beautiful, aren't they? Obviously inspired by her own daughter that she's recently brought into the world. And I've seen that Karolina Kubikowska's pregnant as well, isn't she? So she'll be having a little bundle of joy as well. Saw that on Instagram. I think she'd been trying to hide a baby bump in some recent posts, and she just announced it, was it last week or the week before? she announced it. She said, "I can't hide it any longer. I've well and truly popped." I always went big with my pregnancies. Definitely. No, I couldn't have hid it, ever. Don't think. Not unless nobody came round to see me. Right, I'm going to pull some wispy lines through all these little patches that I've done. The good thing with layering is that you don't have to be too precise when you're putting each layer down, because you know that you can put another layer on top and you're going to be going in to all the gaps that you can see that you want to get in between. The kids at schools are striking again. Oh. One of the schools that's shutting this time was open on the last set of strikes, but it's shutting this time. So I've got 2 different schools that are striking on the 27th of April, and then there's another date which I forgot the date of. But I really wish they'd stop. I know obviously they sometimes have good reasons to do these things, but it's a massive inconvenience, especially when the kids have already had so much time off. I mean, they've just had 2 weeks off for Easter. They'll be off again soon. They're off again in May for a week, and they've got an extra day bank holiday for the King Charles coronation. So I'm just like, throw into that all these strike dates. I don't know. There we go. So let's bring you back down. So you can see we've added some more texture there, and now we're going to start going in with our whites. There's probably going to be 2 layers of white that I'm going to do. So I'm going straight into the white. It's the pure white this time. No creamy colours, just pure white. But you will notice when I put this first layer of white down, and if you're following along as well, you might notice that it picks up the colour of the cream colour that we put down. So it will, when you put this first down, this white, it will look very bright, but as it's drying it will sort of merge into that ochre underneath. So that's why we're going to have 2 layers of this, guys. 2 little layers. I am in shot, aren't I? Yeah. I thought, did I pull the page down? Then I can't quite remember. Oh, what about the trampoline park as well? It's not, if you're having a party, like there's 2 different sections to the trampoline park, right? If you just turn up and want your child to, you know, jump around, etc., etc., anyone what just rocks up for a general bounce sits in the downstairs seating area, and that is right by the trampolines. So basically, if you go by yourself on a normal day, you can put your kids on the trampolines, sit right by them drinking a brew on the tables. But if you go to a party, then the seating area for parties is upstairs. Now obviously you can't see your kids on the trampolines or deal with them if you sat upstairs. So, and you're not allowed to take drinks into the trampoline area. So basically the whole 2.5, I think we was there for 2.5 hours, I was just stood watching the kids jumping, and I didn't have a brew. I was gasping because I couldn't just sit upstairs and leave them downstairs on the trampolines, because my kids need constant supervision. So I was just like, oh, I need a brew. By the time we got out, I was starving, I was thirsty, and I had to sit in that room and watch my kids stuff their face with pizza and all sorts as well. Just I was dying inside. And then we got home and me and my partner ordered a takeaway. I was like, I am clamped. So we both ordered a takeaway. I had a beef burger for a change because normally I have chicken burger. And I thought, go on, I'll order a beef burger for a change. It was a bit sickly, I didn't really like it. So now I know why I never get beef burgers. So I'll stick to my usual chicken burger next time, I think. Does anybody else like that prefer a chicken burger to a beef burger? I just think they can get a bit too much a beef burger. Like a bit too filling and sickly, I don't know. You can hear kids, they are going a bit wild. Even though they're downstairs, like, they sound really, really loud. Really loud. Yeah, so seeing how tired the kids were anyway, and how mellow they were once we got home, because they'd been jumping about for 2 hours, I said to my partner, I said, next week, I said, should we take them bowling? We try and tire them out every weekend, and then we can, you know, they might lie in, but they didn't have a lie in, let me tell you. They didn't have a lie in this morning. But yeah, we've never really took the kids bowling. Don't think they've actually been. We normally go to the cinema when we take them anywhere, or the zoo. Cinema, zoo. But we've never been bowling. So, that might be something fun to do. So you might be able to see how it's brightening it up a bit, but that colour's still dulling right down as it dries. But we are getting these nice colours in now. I'm just laughing at my children because I can hear them. I don't know if you'll be able to hear them, but I can. It's cracking me up. Making me laugh. That means cracking up. Let's bring some of it into the ochre colour. If you do want to get more of a bright white, you can do more of a, what would you call it? Like I've done a big area, they're all a bit more blocky. Sort of less hair strokes, more blocky if you want it to really be white in some areas. I think I might do a bit of that here. Bit blockier. You can see what I'm trying to do though, can't you, hopefully? Bring some of them more wispy lines down here a bit. Oh, all our gutters need cleaning as well on our house. I looked at that we've got, like, obviously we've got the roof of the house, and then over our living room window there's like a bit of a, I don't know what you would call it, but there's like another bit of a roof type thing. And from our bedroom window you can look down and look into the gutter. You can see all the weeds where the birds have dropped. All the weeds in there. I'm terrified of ladders though. Do not like climbing up ladders. But because our house is actually owned by the council, they do actually come out and clean gutters, but they only do it once every so often. I don't know how regular it normally is when they come out and clean them. But perhaps I can just contact them and say, you know, they're getting blocked whatever, and see if they'll come out and sort them out maybe. We have lots of trees surrounding us, that's the problem. Lots and lots of trees. Lots of birds. Oh, do you know how I mentioned the other day that we have birds nesting near our bedroom window at the back? Well, my partner shouted me into the dining room before. He said, "Here, do you want to go and move that out the back garden?" I said, "What is it?" I said, "What is it? Is it a dead bird?" He went, "Well, no, sort of." I went, "What do you mean, sort of?" So then I'm panicking, thinking, what the hell is in my back garden? Do I want to look out of here? That's an emergency vehicle going past. Basically, it's a bird egg. Now either the mummy bird's thrown it out the nest, because I know they do that sometimes, don't they? If they can sense that there's something up with the egg, they actually throw them out the nest, don't they? Or whether it's fell out the nest, but whatever was unformed inside the egg has come out of the egg. It's not formed or anything, but there's flies around it outside. I just looked at him, I was like, I'm not moving that. Either another animal can come along and sort it out for me, or he can move it. I ain't moving it. I am not touching that. Can you see how it's coming along nicely though now? And we're like, left birdie is looking like right birdie now. Yes, he's looking like the right birdie. I've got an itchy eye as well. Hay fever's well and truly started. I woke up the past couple of mornings with a really stuffy nose, and I've been sneezing a little bit. Sneezing. Like I say, it doesn't matter too much about the bottom of the bird, because this water, when I do it, is going to be coming up here a little bit. Obviously, we're going to be going over some of that bird feathers. I'm going to dip into my white a bit more now, because we want it a bit more loaded up, so we can get some thicker bits going on. Let me move that over there. I'm just going to wipe it off, that was a bit too thick. Let's try and drag out some of the edges. It'll dry in, so don't worry about it being so stark. It will deepen up and blend in a bit more shortly. If I go quiet, I'm concentrating, guys. You just follow along. Or grab yourself a brew. Grab yourself a brew. I've got a cup of tea actually, I keep forgetting about it. Let's have a drink. I'll not slurp, don't worry. I can't stand that when people slurp. Ugh. I'm one of them people, what noises are people eating and drinking noisy. Really, really grand on me. And my partner's one of them where he my Uncle Peter does it too. My partner will do that thing where you can literally hear his jaw chomping. I'm not joking. You can literally hear it like banging together. Oh, please. I can't deal. Is anyone else like that? I can't deal with it. Like, there's just no need. Can you not do it a bit quieter? Like, what is the need? What is the need? I don't know. Right, I'm gonna flick up some of these. Let's pop some of them ones through there. I'm going to take a step back in a minute and just have a little look at it so we can see what's going on. Because if I don't step back and have a look at it and determine where I want things, by the time I stop filming I'll be fiddling with it and you'll be like, that looks totally different from what you did on camera. Because I've fiddled and changed it some more. That's what normally happens. I'm never satisfied after fiddle and fiddle. I do murder for it. I can leave pages on my desk for like days thinking they're finished, and then something will just catch my eye and I'll just be like, oh, just let me get that pen out and that pencil out and just let me just tweak this or tweak that. Let me zoom out. Oh, he's looking quite nice. You can see though that I need some more whites down here. You can see where it's sort of, after this paintbrush down here, you can see it's brighter up top than down here. So we need some more white going on, a bit bulkier down here, I think. So let's just get some more in. Let's get it thicker on my brush, then we can get some real thick lines in some places. Let's get some little bunching going on. There we go. Now I think I am going to get some more white on my brush. And round where this bird meets this bird, do I need to zoom in again? Bring you up. I'm going to try and make this bird a bit whiter. Its feathers a bit whiter where it meets that bird. So all along his belly where he's meeting there, just to try and tear them apart. If that makes sense. You don't have to do the strokes in the same direction, you can take them off in different directions. Let's get that belly white there. Get his belly very white. And sort of done what I wanted it to do. You can see down here anyway where I put the deep greys, because I did pop some deep greys here to try and create a bit of a shadow at the bottom of the birds. So you can do that with a grey if you want to take some more grey strokes at the bottom where there would be a little shadow. And now, last but not least, I am going to do something on its little head just to tweak it, because I wanted to tweak this the other day. Now it's just some of the lines we lost on the white parts, a little bit of fluffiness, so I'm just going to flick some of these little white lines back up that we got lost. That got lost a little bit. There we go, and on the other side. I feel like I want to pull that yellow out as well a bit more on this side. It's not as pulled out there as it is there. And I know, you know, grebes are all different. They don't all have the exact same hairstyle, but it is just irritating me because I'm just... I'm a bit like that. Things will just keep catching my eye where I think I need to change that. So I am going to flick this out a bit more like that. There we go. Pull a few more of those lines through there. Oh, that's better. Pull some through that black there as well. I'm fussing, guys. I'm fussing. Why am I a serial fusser? Because I am. Right, I'm going to zoom out so you can see what we've got. Because we've finished the birds, guys. Oh, that was a bit blurry, wasn't it? Let me move my dirty things to the side so I don't put my arm in them, because that's my biggest trick. Is putting my arm in paint, which is fantastic. Let me pull this camera up a little bit. So there we go. So we've got our grebes. We've got a bit of background going on there. So in the next colouring chat that I bring to you, it will be the water. So I'm going to try and go for a smooth, the base of the water will be a smooth. We're going to get a flat brush and we're going to make it smooth, and then we're going to draw in some of the little riffs or little waves, whatever you want to call them, with a darker colour and then a lighter colour, and then we're just going to try and merge it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll know when I do it. But that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching this so far. Please do hit me a big thumbs up and subscribe if you're new, because then you'll get notifications if you click the bell as well. So the next video that goes up, it will buzz your phone and let you know that the next video is up. But look at all those little details. I've really enjoyed this. So thank you so much again for watching, and see you again soon. Bye bye.